Imagine, you're 68, 70, 72, maybe even 75, and you have a home that's worth, 800,000 to $1 million or more. And you've been living there for a long time. You got a lot of equity, but now you still have a monthly payment of about $3,500 a month, but it's no longer coming from your salary. It's now coming from your retirement, and it's starting to make life a little challenging. Mm-hmm. What kind of options are out there for these people that maybe they hadn't thought of that could help reduce the strain on their day-to-day without saying, hey, Marianne, we got to sell the house because we can't afford to live here anymore?
Well, you bring up a good point, and something that we see relatively often that a lot of folks, our viewers, might be surprised at, because when you think about it, and I actually got an inquiry along these lines just earlier this week regarding a potential use of a reverse mortgage. And what you just described in terms of these parameters and what I'm seeing with this particular inquiry that I have now is we have situations where we have senior homeowners who own a home, have a lot of equity, and yet they have a loan balance that you might argue is a little bit surprising given their age. So, once you get into late 60s, early mid 70s or beyond, if you've owned a home and if you've owned it for any length of period at all, chances are you are going to have a pretty good amount of equity, if not already achieved a free and clear status with no mortgage at all. Or if you still have a mortgage, it's probably at this point pretty modest in size and pretty easy to handle financially. However, there are, a pretty good number of senior homeowners out there who don't quite fit those parameters. Yeah, they've got a lot of equity. Yes, they've got a home that may be worth a good amount of money. Sure, 100, 800, a million, million one. In the case of the deal I'm working on, estimated value is $1.1 million. And the owner is 74 years old. And it's a single person, a woman, but she's got a $371,000 mortgage, costing her about $3,000 a month. And she's on a fixed income. So when you hear all that, you're saying, well, wait a minute. With most folks, fixed incomes could often be in the $3,000 level. So then you kind of realize that, man, this particular homeowner is probably having a hard time because their housing expense is using up all of their fixed income. And that can be a real problem.